الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين وصحبه المنتجبين. Assalamu alaikum from the holy shrine of Imam Rida, peace be upon him, in another program on Islamic rules concerning the month of Ramadan. As you may all know, in Islam we have two kinds of ablutions: the minor ablution and the major ablution. The minor ablution is what we know as wudu, which we perform prior to praying, and the major ablution which we know as ghusl, which includes washing the whole of our body. Now, it is during the month of Ramadan, and a person who must perform the major ablution or ghusl before adhan, before the beginning of the fasting day. This person is under the impression that he has enough time until adhan to perform his major ablution, and when he actually goes to perform the major ablution, for example, when he is under the shower, in the midst of performing the major ablution, he hears the sound of adhan, the call for prayer, and he has not yet fully completed his major ablution. What would be the state of his fast? Would it be valid or invalid? The fast would be valid, and he does not have to perform another major ablution or minor ablution or make up for his fast again. So that fasting is valid, provided that he has started the major ablution before adhan, before the call for prayer. Another possible case could be that someone needs to do their major ablution, but on purpose they delay it and delay it until they are very close to the time of adhan, and he does it on purpose, thinking that I'll do it a few minutes before adhan, and suddenly he realizes that he does not have sufficient time to perform his major ablution. And because he does not have sufficient time to take shower and perform the major ablution, what he or she does is that they perform the dry ablution, which is done with soil or dust, and it is done very quickly. Now, what would be the state of their fast in such a case? The answer is their fast would be valid, but they must perform the major ablution after adhan, after the call for prayer, before performing their morning prayer. So their fast would be correct, valid, but they still would have to perform the major ablution in addition to the dry ablution in order to be able to say their morning prayer. And finally, you wake up and you realize that you have had a wet dream. So you wake up and they have already called for prayer, the time of adhan has passed, the fasting day has begun, and you wake up after this time. And you realize that you have had a wet dream, which requires you to perform the major ablution. What would be the state of your fast. Your fast would be valid without any conditions. So if you wake up after the adhan and you realize that you have had a wet dream, and it doesn't matter whether you've had a wet dream before or after the adhan, your fasting would be correct and valid, and obviously you would have to perform the major ablution in order to be able to continue with your fast and say your prayers. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.